live stream and then people can watch it later. I wanted to talk a little bit about why I think President Trump has the best chance to win in 2024 of the whole Republican field. That's not saying I necessarily am supporting him or opposing him either. I kind of agree with what Hugh Hewitt says. I'm in Switzerland, even though I usually don't agree with Hugh Hewitt. I think he's a little bit too moderate on certain issues and a little bit too polite. You need to be polite. You should be polite, but unfortunately we're not dealing with a polite opponent. But that's neither here nor there. I want to focus on positive right now. So, my view is like this. Excuse me. See, that's with the live stream. You get all the sneezes, which even when I'm recording, I don't edit out sneezes. So, so here we are. So, again, like I'm saying, and I see there's one person in the chat. Thank you for watching. I'm in Switzerland about the primaries. I haven't decided who I'm voting for in the primaries, and I don't really think it matters that much. But probably on a personal level, certainly if we would go back some years earlier, if I would go back to 2016, and it was a similar list of candidates, Trump would not be my first choice. And he wasn't my first choice in 2016. In a way, I feel that Trump kind of made me a liberal. And I'll explain that. And really, in my heart and soul, probably, I would prefer probably most of the other candidates, with a few exceptions. I would not prefer Chris Christie. If he winds up being the candidate, I will still vote for him. Although I'm very scared about what would happen if Trump is not the candidate and he runs third party, or if he is the candidate and someone else runs third party. These things are scary, and that is the problem that we're really facing, is this specter of a third party run in either event. Now, in order to get on the debate stage for the Republican Party, you have to promise pretty much not to make a third party run, that you are going to support whoever the candidate is. I've said for a while that Trump should try to run as both a Republican and a Democrat and see what happens. As far as the primaries, he is more like an old-fashioned Democrat in many ways. And on the other hand, he really is more of what classically the Republican Party always was, which is about individual freedom and really about fighting racism. And it's really a shame that the media has gotten away with lying about President Trump, turning a person who really is, as he always says, the least racist person into some kind of racist, and a real racist like Joe Biden, which again, I don't want to focus on the negative right now, into some kind of a civil rights hero or something, you know, when Joe Biden is very well known to be a racist his whole life, and still to this day, and his whole ideology right now is really more tokenism than anything, and it's not really an ideology, it's just the practicality of how he's operating, which is racism. Tokenism is racism. But in any event, let's get back to why I think President Trump has the best chance of winning. And that's really the purpose of what I'm bringing out here. President Trump really is a moderate and in many ways a liberal. Certainly when it comes to social issues, particularly the LGBTQ issue, President Trump is the most liberal Republican long time, other than what was whose daughter was a lesbian. I don't remember his name now. That's funny. Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney is also very liberal about LGBTQ issues. And as a religious person, maybe that makes me somewhat uncomfortable. But I think a healthy liberalism on this view, as opposed to leftism on this view, is okay. You know, I think as far as the government is concerned, a liberal approach as opposed to a leftist approach is probably the best we're going to get. And in a way, President Trump really changed the field on that. Also, he changed the field about, which I see Vivek Ramaswamy also recognizes that, as far as entitlements and connecting. All right. And that's really what needs to be done. And in a certain sense, I don't want to focus on the negative, but I think the left wants people to be poor so they can control them, so they can have this permanent underclass that will always vote for them. And that's really related to the history that the Democrat Party has with slavery and so forth, as many other things that the Democrats push are connected to their racist past. Certainly the abortion and gun control issues are both rooted in the racist past of the Democrat Party, are part of the actual systemic racism of America, and still to this point are detriments to minority communities to this point in America. But that is to answer the question at the beginning, why I believe President Trump has the best chance of winning. Because he's not a right-wing extremist. As much as the media paints him like that, he really isn't. He really is middle of the road, common sense, and he should be and should have been the greatest uniter in American history. And I think that has to be the key if the Republican Party has any chance of winning, is to demonstrate that, is to demonstrate how President Trump, you know, like how he often said for African American, what do you have to lose? You know, it's not going to get any worse than it is now under the Democrats, under the Republicans. Come back home. That should really be the message to Black Americans, is that the Republican Party is your home. It's the party of Lincoln. It is the party of freedom. It is the party that was founded to fight against slavery. And again, we can talk about the racial issues of abortion and gun control. I don't want to focus on the negative. I want to focus on the positive. And the same thing with a lot of these liberal issues, to make the distinction between liberalism and leftism and what classical liberalism is about. Classical liberalism is about, I do my thing and you do your thing, and we're not trying to change the other person. We're tolerating different people, which is not what the left believes in today. The left believes in cancel culture. The left believes in not tolerating dissent. So, which for the most part, the American right, by and large, including pretty much all the candidates who are running in the Republican Party, do believe in free speech, do believe in, you know, you have your right to say what you want, and I have my right to say what I want. And that's how it should be. But again, especially since President Trump, he's not really that conservative and he's not really that religious. He might have the possibility of drawing away enough votes from independents and some Democrats. And I think he has still, to this day, a better chance of that than a lot of the other candidates have, you know. But the Republican Party should work on that outreach. They've been rather successful with the Orthodox Jewish community. Let's see that with other communities. Let's see Republicans going into the black churches, the Hispanic churches, to the Muslim communities, to the mosques. One thing that I was very upset about was that in Pennsylvania, with the Senate race, the Republicans didn't make a bigger deal about the fact that they were running who would have been the first Muslim senator, Dr. Oz. And so all these lies that the left said that President Trump, by continuing an Obama-era policy, was somehow making a Muslim ban, when the only change that he made to this Obama-era policy was adding countries where there actually are Muslim bans, like North Korea, to the list of countries where you need vetting before you come into the country. So we did, in a way, some better PR, and I think with that we could have a possibility of winning. I don't agree with this idea that President Trump is the biggest liability, because in a certain way, like I said, I personally, as a religious person, I might feel more comfortable with DeSantis, or maybe the person who doesn't have like the Trump baggage, who is the most Trump-like, is Vivek Ramaswamy. And I don't know if he's Christian or Hindu. I don't know what religion he is. I don't know much about his religious ideas, which I think in a certain way might be a good thing. So I don't know. What do you all think? What do you really think it's possible for us to swing the pendulum to the right to get someone like Pence? Like Pence was necessary in 2016 to attract religious people like me to voting for Trump. That was really the case at the time. And I still really like Pence. I still would vote for Pence if he is the nominee. I don't think he's going to be the nominee. But if somehow Pence becomes the nominee, I would be very happy to vote for him. He would be very presidential. But is that really what matters, being presidential or getting the job done? President Trump got the job done. President Trump fixed this country, fixed the economy. He really made this country great again. And now, unfortunately, the only problem was that most of what he did was merely by not making executive orders, but by rescinding previous executive orders. And there doesn't have the staying power of that. We need the Congress, we need the Senate. Baruch Hashem, we have the Supreme Court, which is the only thing that's really preventing America from being totally destroyed in such a short time under this really scary regime that is occupying our country at the moment. So, where they're just, whatever. I don't want to talk about the negative stuff. I want to talk about the positive stuff. But the question is also, who is going to stay home in the election? I don't want anyone to stay home. I want as many people to vote as possible, but I want people to be educated in their votes, and I want one vote for one person, which, again, I'm not saying that was or was not the case before, because you're not allowed to talk about that, so I'm not talking about that. But nonetheless, I want one vote for one person. But if all whatever it is. I don't know how many people are eligible to vote in the country. 100 million people? I don't know, because what are there, about 300 million people in the country? I don't know how many, 150, 200 million people that are eligible to vote. I don't know how many are children, etc. But I do want everyone to vote. But I want everyone to put in the work, be educated, learn history, learn about what's really going on, and just see how bad things are right now. I don't know. Does everyone see how bad things are right now? Do people realize how expensive it is to buy a piece of chicken, to fill up your car with gas? I have to go to New York City today, and it's like almost all the money I'm making is going to go to gas. I'm about to lose reception. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. But do people realize what caused that? That is because Mr. Biden don't fool yourself that there's any other reason. That's exactly why it was. And then also people know that, they won't, even if he gives, permits or whatever, they're not going to be lasting. It's not a pro-energy regime that's currently occupying the White House. So but again, I'm not saying that because anything that you're not allowed to say. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Sorry that I have to leave.